All right, we are back. Our next guest is Daniel Vitiello, the co-founder of Cooklist, as well as co-host of the AI Chefs on TikTok. Daniel. Man, it's hard to believe that all that music's coming from one man.
It's
Dave
incredible.
Matthews. Great work, sir. Daniel, tell us about Cooklist.
Yeah, so Cooklist is an app we've been working on for a while now that is kind of your full end-to-end groceries. So it does meal plans, you can do your grocery shopping, keep track of your pantry, so everything that you have in your house, and then we turn what's in your pantry into recipes, so you can always get inspiration for something new to cook with all the groceries you already have.
It sounds amazing. So we've got somebody on the UR Comp team, Tyler, if you're watching. Hi, Tyler. When he's on his own, all he lives off of is pizza rolls.
Yep.
That's like as much as he can handle. And so this is something that can help people expand that. It gives new ideas for what are some ways that people use Cooklist?
Yeah, so you have 50, maybe 100 things in your kitchen, but then trying to do the math of like what spices are going to go well together, or how can I combine something to make a sauce? It's really hard. One thing that we first experienced when we started Cooklist was we had grapes in our pantry and Brussels sprouts, or grapes in the fridge. Never had thought to bake grapes before, but it suggested this recipe of a side dish with Brussels sprouts and baked grapes. It sounds weird. It ended up being delicious, and it was just one of those moments where it's like I wouldn't have had the creativity to do that, but with the software we were able to.
So was that the inspiration for Cooklist, or maybe you could walk us through how did Cooklist become Cooklist?
Yeah, so it really happened out of just being a nerd for data and wanting to get the data from our loyalty cards. And then we thought we could do something useful with it. And so we started just talking with a lot of people and trying to find out what would be the most interesting or useful thing we could do with all of the grocery loyalty card data. And then what people really wanted was this pantry for being able to get expiration notifications. So like if you have that bag of salad in the bottom of your fridge, forget about it, you come back a week later and then it's spoiled. With Cooklist, since we know when you bought it, it ties in with the grocery loyalty card system. It'll send you a push notification when it's getting close to expiring and then give you a recommendation for a recipe to cook with it.
That is genius. I need to get my mom on there. I know she's watching. She's tried to kill me about 3 times with spoiled Parmesan cheese. So,
yep.
Mom, you're downloading Cooklist. So Cooklist transitioned, or I shouldn't say transitioned, you guys spun out kind of a new concept out of Cooklist AI Chefs. Why don't you tell us about that?
Yeah, so with Cooklist, we've aggregated millions of recipes from all over the internet. And what kind of another just side interest has always been artificial intelligence and seeing it progress over the years. And I've started to see these text models, which, recipe is just a very structured form of text or natural language. And the models were getting so good, became curious, and I was wondering if I took all the million recipes we have on Cooklist and trained a neural network to generate text in the format of recipes, would it work? And so during the summer, kind of just experimented with that and actually started getting pretty good results. And so then we partnered with the studio guys, and we were like, we should actually cook some of these recipes, because it's hard to tell when you just look at it on paper, right? It can look plausible. You don't know how it's really going to taste until you actually cook it. Mm-hmm. And so, yeah, over the last few months, we've started cooking the recipes that the AI has been generating. And then the AI itself has gotten better as we've made the model bigger.
So tell us about the shirt, because it's a cool shirt.
So this is our logo for AI Chefs. It's got a hat that's similar to the chef's hat on the Cooklist logo. And then cool is kind of just a meme that happened with TikTok. We had this one video that went viral, and the first 3 people commented just cool. And then it kind of started this cool chain. And so I think it ended up with, there was 23,000 cool comments of just people commenting one word, cool, on the video. That it just blew up and went crazy on TikTok.
Cool.
Dude, these guys have had over 1 million views. So
wow.
Yeah, people love AI recipes, and so that's why we're pretty confident headed into the competition today that the AI is gonna shine.
Well, it sounds like it's all been fun and games, but now, obviously, this is the biggest test of the AI chefs. I don't know if you call AI like their life, but since the creation of AI, is this your first competition?
It is.
Okay. So how does this work? So you got this AI chef. It's been trained with all the things you described. You guys you're watching it. You can go back and get all these concepts, neural networks, and all that. So risotto is the battleground.
Yep.
How do you do that? You got risotto. How do you train the AI chef to come up with a recipe for risotto?
Yeah. So it's kind of like, you can think of it as autocomplete on your phone, where it's just it looks at what the current text is and then is generating word by word the most probable next like 3 characters at a time. So imagine if you just pushed the first button on your iPhone, autocomplete over and over and over and over again. That's essentially what we're doing, but it's a lot smarter than the autocomplete on your phone. And so the way that we get it to make a risotto recipe is we show it about 3 or 4 examples. So we'll give it, like existing recipes. And then with that, it's able to figure out the kind of format of what we're looking for. And then it'll just spit out hundreds or thousands of iterations that it comes up with based on kind of the prompt.
It sounds like the premise for Terminator 6 when the AI chef takes us over. So why don't we cut to the video? We actually have the AI chefs. You guys you're talking a little bit about the recipe, and then you guys actually cooking it. You don't have the robot yet that's grabbing.
No, that's the V2.
V2. Okay, that's Terminator 6. It's the start of Terminator 6. Okay, why don't we cut to the video of the AI chefs preparing their risotto?
Sounds good. All right, guys, we're here in the kitchen with my co-founder, Brandon.
Howdy.
And we have a crazy recipe that the AI came up with. It's called the peanut butter and jelly risotto.
Yeah, this is really interesting. I don't think either of us are pros at cooking risotto at all, but the point here is that the AI came up with the recipe and we're going to follow its instructions word by word and see how this comes out.
So we've got all the ingredients here, and let's get cooking.
So this is definitely not your typical risotto recipe. And if I had to guess, there are no peanut butter risotto recipes out there at all. So this is probably a first of its kind.
We've got peanut butter, we've got jelly, but then I like that it added the fruit. I don't know how it's going to turn out, but I think it's a cool touch. The grapes could be kind of weird, but it definitely looks more visually appealing.
It smells good. It's got this cool like jelly pink hue. I'm really excited to taste it.
When it was writing the recipe, it comes up with the title and then the full list of ingredients with the specific quantities. And the quantities that it came up with make sense. We think it could have used a little bit more liquid. Was there anything that it messed up on here?
I think where it falls short is, I think typically in a risotto recipe you would gradually add the liquid over time, whereas the AI instructed us to add all of the water at once. But that said, it did tell us we could add in cream at the end to our discretion, so that actually helped enable us to add a little bit of cream, to add a little bit more liquid at the end to get the risotto cooked to the consistency that a risotto would normally be.
One thing that was interesting to me was when it said to add the wine, it said to let it cook while you're stirring until it's evaporated. So it's understanding that there's alcohol in wine, where then the next step, when we add the water, it's saying keep cooking until it's all absorbed. And so there's these subtle changes where you can understand that the AI does have this deep understanding of the context of kind of how these ingredients are going together.
When I make a PB&J, I usually do strawberry jelly and creamy peanut butter. How about you?
Yeah, I'm also a fan of strawberry jelly. I like the crunchy peanut butter though, and here the AI didn't specify crunchy or creamy, so it's up to your personal preference. I think that we're definitely going to be the more creative risotto recipe in this competition.
Whether or not the judges take that into account with their ratings, we will see. Looks about done, huh?
Yeah, I think it's looking pretty good.
All right, let's give it a shot. I'm excited to try it out.
But let's see how it tastes.
Definitely can taste the peanut butter jelly.
Solid peanut butter base, jelly's on top. It's a good balance, I think.
Like you said, the strawberries completely disappeared. The grapes give a little bit nice of a visual touch. I don't really taste them, but I think the fruit probably added to the sweetness, which is nice.
But it is chewy. Chewy peanut butter jelly.
It's peanut butter jelly risotto.
We're for sure gonna win creativity points. We're gonna bank on bringing the judges back to their childhood. I think they're gonna be blown away by the artificial intelligence risotto.